coaches that come on Bear Bets don't lose.
I'd say the players have better composure than me.
I like Oregon a lot this game.
I would probably bet Notre Dame because I told you. No.
If Miami loses this one, the Leprechauns are going to come for you.
They do not profile like a 10-win team. They profile like 7-win type teams. I can't wait to let 18 to 22-year-olds emotionally ruin me.
I made a call, to Vegas. I said, look, we actually need the favorite here.
Bear Bets Podcast is back. Bear Chris Fallica alongside Geoff Schwartz and Sammy P as always. And guys, this time of the year, all anyone wants to talk about is the college football playoff rankings. And there were a few takeaways that I had, but I'd like to get your take on whatever immediately struck your fancy.
I mean, we'll do the Notre Dame Miami debate maybe a little bit later, but that's fairly interesting to me because it's something that I wrestle with as far as head-to-head matchups and how much they should matter later in the season, Bear. But I think Alabama being 10th and the committee telling you if things sort of play out the way they think Alabama is in, even with that loss to Oklahoma, I think is pretty striking to me, considering that basically 11 and 12, as we know, will be the ACC representative and the G5. So in the top 10 will be those 10 teams in, Sammy.
I look at this one seed and feel very similar to the way that I felt last year. This one seed is going to be a battle. As currently constructed, you play the winner of Oklahoma, Notre Dame, and if you get through that one, you likely get Georgia. That is not a fun path. I know you say Ohio State can do it. We'll see. They haven't been tested since week 1.
No, they haven't. We'll see if they're tested finally next week in Ann Arbor. I don't think they're going to be 11.5-point favorite right now. I saw.
We thought that last year, too.
Yeah, we did think that last year.
And the year before that.
And the year before that. And Michigan couldn't complete a forward pass last year, and somehow they still went into Columbus and won. But the Alabama and Notre Dame thing is fascinating to me. How Alabama fell as far as they did. They turned the ball over. They dominated the game, the box score. Obviously, the game isn't won on the box score, but they've got 4 wins against the committee's top 25. They've got 6 Sagarin wins in the top 40. Notre Dame's got 1 win against the committee top 25 and 2 top 40 wins. And for the committee to drop Alabama, which has got more big quality wins than anyone, it just tells me the committee is prioritizing, for some asinine reason, losses. Like, losses are taking priority over wins, guys, and I think that's ridiculous.
I think the committee is watching Notre Dame play and saying Notre Dame belongs in, and Notre Dame is probably – here's a better question. Let's volley this back to you. Would you rather bet Notre Dame to win the title or Alabama to win the title right now?
I would probably bet Notre Dame because I told you. No.
Here's the thing, though.
Did I tell you 3 weeks ago that Alabama was a team I was going to fade in the college football playoff?
But the Notre Dame hate is so crazy.
I see. Here, and I don't want to bring this back to Miami, Notre Dame now.
No, we want you to.
It's not Notre Dame and Miami both belong in the playoff.
Yes.
That the issue is not that Notre Dame. No one's saying Notre Dame does not belong in the play. At least I'm not. Notre Dame, but it comes down to if it's one or the other, it should be the problem is you've got those buffers right now, those space fillers from the Big Ten in Utah and BYU, which have no resumes whatsoever to belong where they are either.
But they also, BYU and Utah won't also be in right now. They'd be out of the postseason because they're 11 and 12. Mm-hmm. So they're just sort of sitting there right now. Look, the Miami and Notre Dame thing brings up something really fascinating because they played week 1. We saw that game happen. If it were to happen today, I think we would agree Notre Dame probably wins. We don't know, but
they'd be favored by 6 on a neutral.
They'd be favored. So how much does week 1 matter when you're ranking teams now? I don't want those games to go away, Bear. But like that's the thing. I want the games to be played. I want the games to be played in week 1. They have to mean something. But if I'm weighting things now, it is really hard for me to get to a place where I say a game in week 1 is the reason why Miami would be ahead of Notre Dame. Because I think Notre Dame is better now, but that's not really the way the sport works, right? They played that game. It has to matter. Otherwise, we can never play those games again. Like, why would you ever play that game? Why would Texas ever play Ohio State? Why would Miami play Notre Dame? So it has to matter for something. And you might disagree with where they're at now as teams. Like, again, I think Notre Dame is better than Miami, but that game did happen. It does count. And if it is between one or the other, Sammy, even though we agree Notre Dame is better, we get that. I think Miami would have to be in over Notre Dame.
They should both be in. I said that last week. I stand by that. But
It might work itself out.
head-to-head is not the only thing that matters. And here's the other thing. People crying about the committee. The committee doesn't care what we say. The committee clearly doesn't care.
No.
The committee boned Florida State so hard a couple years ago and didn't care. They don't care about your feelings. They don't care about Dan Wolken crying on Twitter. They don't care.
Oh, don't tell that to BYU fans. They don't care about them. They're a very, very passionate fan base.
But to show you brought up Dan Wolken, I'll bring up Clay Travis. To have Dan Wolken and Clay Travis, who are about these two polar opposites of anything. It's like that meme where you have Dan Wolken, Clay Travis, Miami over Florida State in the CFP. You shake hands. That's what that is. It's like a moving mountains.
It's never going to be perfect because it's humans involved making this.
Right.
That's why I'm pro BCS standings.
Well, I think the computers should have a little bit more say than what we have right now. I think we've gone a little too far. Like, I am all for these games to be played, and I don't think you should be super penalized for a loss. But if we come to a point where winning the game is less important than playing the game, period, I think that's a bad thing for college football. We're going to take some of the college football playoff standings and some of the national storylines allowed in his big game with the USC Trojans this week. Oregon head coach Dan Lanning joins us next. Up as promised, head coach of the Oregon Ducks, Dan Lanning, joins us here. And coach, obviously this time of year, all anyone wants to talk about are the college football playoff rankings. And your team is kind of this lightning rod because people, I think, have a hard time equating, they don't really have a top 10 win or a great win. But you look at the numbers, you've got the biggest yardage and yard per play differential in terms of like power for opponents, your top 5 offensive, defensive efficiency. Like as a coach, like how important do you really take like the strength of schedule versus like the actual statistics and efficiency metrics to really determine a great team?
Well, as you can imagine, I spent very little time on it, right? We focused on and I think that's the key. You know, I do know that we played in some big games this year, and there's a reason that, Fox Noon shows up. There's a reason the game day's there. There's a reason that people pay attention to our games, and it's not our fault if we win games when we go play people, right? So, all we can do is go play the game of the people that we play, and the rest takes care of itself. I tell our players, go win, right? If you want to be in control of your own destiny, go win. So that's what we have to do. As we approach the stretch, and it's not about the playoff yet. It's about this next game and about SC.
Last year, you played into January, obviously, and this year you're hoping to do the same. What did you learn about preparation last year in a long season that's helping you now in November prepare your team to play USC and hopefully some more games this season?
Yeah, just navigating, the sports science behind taking care of our guys as well. And, it's interesting. We've actually had some injuries this year that we didn't have last year, and most of them have been non-contact. But player load, there's things that you want to be really conscientious of as you get later in the season to make sure your guys are fresh. The way our season's been set up here, it's built a little bit better from when our bye weeks fell to make sure we can recharge these guys' batteries. But, in my mind right now, we're in the third quarter of the season and entering that second half of the third quarter as we play this game against USC.
Coach, I'm sure you don't care what the point spread is, but at the same time, I'm sure you knew that Vegas said you were going to lose to Penn State. Can the point spread ever be used as motivation?
Of course, right? But ultimately, there's always a lot of motivation out there. And if there's anything we can find that can make a chip on our shoulder, that's something that we want to be able to utilize.
Motivation. You just said it. Our guy over here with the 4X Oregon hockey jersey, he cannot get enough of the Ducks versus them videos. He has got me locked in. I'm going to warn you now, Tom Rinaldi is aware of them now, so you're probably going to get a call about it. Like, who comes up with this stuff? The Gladiator episode last year where time around, I love that. Like, is that you? Is it a combination of you and staff, players? Because those things, honestly, are fantastic.
Yeah, we put a lot of thought into it, and it really starts in the summer. I work with a guy, Corey Schaefer, that helps us with sports performance and really mindset training for us. And then as the week goes, we're going to adapt and change based on what do we feel like the message, how does it need to shift, how does it need to change. And all we want to do is find out different ways to say the same thing over and over again and get our players to repeat it. And sometimes that message is a little bit different. Sometimes it's the same, but it usually always plays into our game plan for the game and how we want to attack the opponent.
Coach, talk about how your offense this year has been so multiple, and depending on what game it is, right? You run the ball against Iowa, you pass the ball against Minnesota. How do you prepare sort of each week to have that different variety on offense?
I think you always walk into a game leaning in on, okay, what do we have to be able to do to win? And, we played in some games that were tough weather this season. Iowa's a good example of that. Wisconsin's a good example of that, of, hey, we're going to have to win these games maybe in a different fashion because it's going to be tough to throw. But when you have a team that can do it all, that's the toughest team to defend. And I'm a big fan of high school coaches. I feel like they always do the best at adapting to their personnel. And that's something I think our offensive staff has done a really good job of this year is, hey, who's available? How can we use them that's going to create stress for the opponent? And what runs and passes do we have off of those looks, right, to create the variety you need?
How is this team better on November 20th than it was in the summer, Coach?
The maturity of this group. I think anybody that asked me walking into the season, what are we missing? And you're going to say, okay, we don't have the leadership. We lost, 10 guys to the NFL, and you're going to have some inexperience. Well, right now we have experience, right? Young guys have played, and right now these guys are shown to be a mature team that can handle adverse situations. Multiple 2-minute drives this season have mattered for us. Overtime games have mattered for us. We've been stuck in tough situations, having to win tight games, and our guys have done a good job of it.
And the toughest situation, that game at Kinnick a couple of weeks ago, rain, bad weather, wind, just a weird game, and you're sitting there with the ball needing to score late. That drive really, I think, answered a lot of questions with people nationally, like, is Dante Moore really the guy? They're shorthanded, down receivers, down linemen. How was the sideline like prior to that drive? Like, how hard is it for you to keep these guys loose but serious and knowing the schedule? Because it was a perfectly executed 2-minute drive. You had shots in the end zone even if you wanted them. Like, everything about that drive just worked out perfectly.
Yeah, I'd say the players had better composure than me, but I probably was good at hiding it. You're excited in those moments. It's tough, but you walk into that game and you're down 3 starters on offense, and overall it's a different environment, and obviously a tough one to throw in. But for us to be able to go and execute, I thought our players had unbelievable composure. They're reminding me throughout the game, hey, coach, let's take a deep breath here. They're resetting. They had really clear focus, and I think just moments like that build confidence for your team. They've seen us in that situation. They know how to attack it in the future.
Obviously, no bias here from a former Oregon Duck, but I do feel like the defense is not getting the national attention it really deserves. It's been fantastic this season. You obviously have a tough test this weekend against those USC wide receivers. How do you prepare to face a passing attack like that when you really haven't faced it so many times this season?
Yeah, you always say, let's take away the opponent's strength. Well, this team is tough. They run the ball for over 200 yards a game. They throw it for over 300 yards a game. This is a team that's really successful. So it's a challenge, but this will be a great indicator of exactly where we're at on defense. And really what we've done to this point, it doesn't matter. It's about what we do this next game. I do think we have good players. I think we have good scheme, but this is certainly a tough challenge. And it's about every single play individually having a life of its own, and us going out there.
You guys always look fresh too. I'm curious if we could rate this fit here, Coach, with the 4X Oregon sweater. Look at what do we think of this fit by Schwartz?
It's nice.
He looks good, man. But the question is, what are his shoes? Because that's really what would set it off.
He's got Crocs and socks on, Coach. Who are you kidding?
What I was afraid of. That's what I was afraid of. The old behind the desk move.
I have a large shoe. I wear a specific brand that makes wide shoes. And I would be open to switching if another brand made very wide shoes as well. I'm open for that suggestion, for that switch. But I got 3 of these, man. I got the whole. I support the whole Oregon hockey team. They're fantastic.
Speaking of suggestions, back in the day, Chip turned us on to Beppe and Johnny's and La Perla Pizza when it was there. When Big Noon finally gets out to Eugene, and we were close this week, and we will finally want to get the show out.
Thinking y'all were coming, man.
Where are we going to eat when we finally take the show out there?
We got some spots. Sabai's a good change up. I'm a fan. Kennedy's the new steakhouse in town that's pretty good as well. But there's depends on what flavor you're looking for. We got it all here. Yeah. Beppe's is hard to beat, man. That's
we got the bookends here. I mean, I'm certainly not turning down anything these days. So Coach, appreciate you joining us. I know it's a busy week, and as you prepare for SC and UW, and then hopefully the playoff. Thanks for spending some time with us, and best of luck to you this weekend.
Glad I could hop on. Appreciate you guys. Have a good one.
Thanks to Coach Lanning for joining us. Obviously, looking forward to seeing the Ducks play USC this weekend. The number right now, 9.5.
Can you tell Jeff's ready? Looking forward to that.
Who do you like? What do you like in the game?
We'll get to that in a second. I want to remind everyone too. Go to YouTube.com. And at Bear Bets Pod to find the rest of Dan Lanning interviews. Catch all of that. There's more than we just aired right now on TV for you guys. I like Oregon to win this game and cover this game. Look, there's a lot of things I think that are going in our direction for this game. One, and this can be pretty simple. I think we all agree on this. Oregon's roster is much better. Like, that does matter. We are better every position but wide receiver. It's that simple. You can argue quarterback, sure, but you can't argue offensive line. You can't argue defensive line. You can't argue defense in general. We're healthier. There's some USC injuries with the left tackle, with the safety that really concern me for USC. And then Bear, I know you're talking about their overall record on the road, but USC is not good on the road. You can put my tweet up here with their splits, but I mean, stuff as simple as Maava completes like 18% less passes on the road. They're much worse on third down on the road. They rush for less. They gain less yards. They score less points. You can argue it was personnel. It was the rain, whatever it was. But the fact is, USC is not as good on the road. This is a very tough road environment, Bear. So, look, it started 7.5. It's now 9.5. I like Oregon to cover this game. And you guys know, if you listen to the show, I'm not always this, like, bet Correct. Oregon
this is
no
true.
matter what.
Last week you said not to.
I like Oregon a lot in this game.
I just don't know what leads you to think that this result will be any different from what we saw in South Bend last month against Notre Dame. It's the same line, same type situation. We've talked about SC in the role of road underdog, lost 8 straight, 0-5 under Lincoln Riley, last 21 games as a road dog. They've won twice. They don't win these games, and they're 5-16 against the numbers. So not only do they not win the games, they typically don't cover. If Oregon is getting healthier with the extra day of rest, they see where they are on the college football playoff rankings. I know people are talking about SC potentially going up there and pulling an upset. I don't see it, Sammy.
As long as Dante Moore protects the football, not DeCorian Moore. I don't think he's going to play quarterback. As long as Dante Moore protects the ball, they're going to be in a good spot because I don't think USC can stop the run. And there's also something I think Vegas is not weighing in this game is that coaches that come on Bear Bets don't lose. So we know that Oregon's going to win. The question is by how much. And if you can't stop the run and then you put them down 14-0, 17-0 or something like that and tee off on their O-line, which already has a left tackle injury and could have more injuries that we don't even know about in terms of guys being banged up late in the season. I laid it. I'm laying it before it gets to 10 too, because we are on the way offshore and in Vegas. This is 9.5 now. This probably gets to 10.5 by Saturday.
The one thing too, and we talked a little bit about it with Coach Lanning before, I don't think people really, Oregon's like one of those lightning rod teams where you look at their opponents who they've beaten and they don't have a great win, but you look at their metrics, they're great. And if you look at them against Power 4 teams this year, they've outgained their Power 4 opponents by 213 yards a game and averaged 7.3 yards per play, which is the best in the country.
I don't want to make this obviously.
Please do.
Into
you hit me with Miami off the top of the show. I'm hitting you with this now.
I just
go.
Think there's a control and confidence they're playing with this season that I have not seen in years past, where they can have a game against Iowa where they rush the ball for 260 yards and then, all of a sudden, okay, we have to go do a 2-minute drill. Let's score a touchdown to win the game. You play Minnesota on Friday. The weather's great. Dante Moore's 27-30, throwing the ball down the field. They're able to win different ways. I don't think USC can win different ways, right? They win one way. Those wide receivers are great. Oregon's got to make sure that defensively, number 1 pass defense in the country can stop them. We'll see how that goes. One other Big Ten game, guys, that we want to get to very quickly. Maryland's hosting Michigan here. Michigan's laying 14 points in this game. It's an extreme look-ahead spot. They got Ohio State coming next week.
I'd rather bet a bunch of other games. I hate this one, Bear.
Yeah, I thought I might be a little bit interested in Maryland here. Maybe they get a little bit of a bump with Loxley, the announcement they're staying. They're going to research the
Wisconsin
program.
Wisconsin won the game after they announced Fickle was
I
staying.
know, yeah. In Michigan, the thing is with Michigan, you're down Justice Haynes. Marshall probably won't play or be limited, so you're down to Bryce Underwood, who really can't throw, and a third-string running back on the road, laying 14. If I had to play the game, if it's like one of your pick'em pools, and I would take Maryland plus the points. But like Sammy, I am not interested betting real money on this game.
All right, we're back to move to the SEC. Oklahoma off that major upset of Alabama host Missouri. I guess first and foremost, do we think Prebula is going to play this weekend?
No, I don't. And I think they probably are better off without Prebula playing. I think Witzala is getting some more run now. I think Prebula is a thrower, is very limited. I think the offense that we saw, obviously, big turnover last week. It's a non-offensive points as well. But I think they're better off if they just keep the backup in there right now and go instead of bringing a Prebula whose biggest asset is his mobility. He might not be fully ready to go. I would stick with the backup and just see what happens.
Total seems to be pretty fair considering these defenses are both very solid, down to 41.5 at a couple places, which I'm not really like in love with. I don't love going under 41.5, but the big move offshore and in Vegas has been to the dog, because this was 9.5 when it opened up, and now there's a 7.5 at a bunch of spots. There's a 7 offshore. They are betting against Oklahoma off of Oklahoma's major win, and that's what you see wise guys do.
I think the side has got to be Missouri here, right? They run the football, be hard against Oklahoma, but if you're able just to sort of, I think, keep away from the Oklahoma offense, you can make this a game. Guys, we talked about this on Monday. The Oklahoma post-game win expectancy was 5% over Alabama. What is this number, Sammy, if Oklahoma loses that game? Bama comes back and wins that last drive of the game. What's this number going to be?
6.5, 7.
So you're getting a good number on Missouri right now, who had a good win. The 6-7 thing, again, it's Miles over here doing 6-7. You walked right into that, Sammy.
I said 6.5.
I think you said 6 or 7.
I'll check the tape on that one.
I think Missouri has to be the play here. I think Oklahoma fading them. Look, they don't have a rivalry game next weekend to worry about. There's no look-ahead spot, but that was a huge emotion.
You got a game against LSU with the college football playoff berth on the line.
Sure, but you also have that this weekend. You have to win this game to move it along, too.
Minus 175 down to make the college football playoff in Oklahoma. It seems short enough to kind of entice a bet, maybe, Sammy?
Well, you brought up plus 230 last week.
But that's what I'm saying. You could have bet that last week, and now you got 2 home games against a couple of shorthanded teams, dead team walking at the end of the year, and it's only minus 175. Feels a little. I don't think so.
No.
We're going to show you that. I think he's going to Florida.
That person would be Lane Kiffin.
I think he's going to Florida. So we'll see how right or wrong we are in the pod by the time maybe this airs. Maybe something happens.
Well, they did give him a deadline. Egg Bowl. You better decide.
Woo. But we'll see. But Oklahoma's a team, I think, like we talk about the playoff and selection process. The committee has Oklahoma rated higher than the computers do. That's why I think there was a move to the dog. You mentioned that as well. SP Plus, Sagarin have Oklahoma 12. CFP committee has them 8th. So that's kind of a little look into the difference in how both the computers and the playoff committee see the Sooners.
Let's get to Tennessee at Florida here. This is only a 4-point spread. Kind of surprised to see this number. Total 57.5. Our producer is a Tennessee grad. He claimed that early in the week that Tennessee was losing this game outright.
I heard Florida out money line.
He kind of backtracked during the week. But what do we think about this game, Bear?
I don't have a play on it. We were fooled by Florida last week, 2 weeks ago when they laid down against Kentucky, and then no one thought they'd show up against Florida or against Ole Miss rather, and they did. Tennessee's defense has been poor most of the year.
I have 80th in points per drive, pressure rate 73rd. I mean, they've been bad against everyone. Like in Florida, just do enough offensively, man.
But I mean, what have they done all year? They turned the ball over 16 times against Power 4 teams this year, which only 3 teams are worse in the country. They're averaging 17 points a game per year against Power 4 teams, which is like 5th worst in the country. Like offensively, they have been absolutely terrible. But the panacea for bad offense has been the Tennessee defense. But still, I can't trust Florida to go on the road and score points here. An under type. If I had to make a play on the game, I would probably lean under, just because the Gator defense, I think, can still make some plays, and I don't think they're going to score many points.
Tennessee hasn't won here since 2003, which is
It's crazy.
crazy to say that out loud. And I was talking with a mutual friend of ours, Matt Metcalf, and we were talking yesterday. He's going through the box scores on the phone. He's like, Ole Miss should have won by 3 touchdowns. I'm like, I know. I watched the whole thing. Yeah, I know. I'm aware. Knock the table down. I know. We all watched the game. There go the water bottle spilling.
Water bottle, phone. That's okay. I'll bill you for a new iPhone.
I would. Is that your iPhone too?
Yes.
Oh, now I feel bad. Although this table, I mean, come on. I know what's going to happen. I'm not going to bet Tennessee, and Florida's going to lay a dud here. Like, that's what's going to happen.
Also, do you think the turmoil for Florida's head coaching position plays a role at all in this game? I'm kind of curious about that. Our next game in a second, we'll talk about.
Not for them.
Well, but I do wonder, like, if they hire a coach this week, is there going to be players who are going to try to show out more for the new coach on Saturday if they don't want to transfer? Like, that's my only thought. It's like maybe
they showed out for him last week in Oxford.
It's certainly possible. They were looking him across the way. So you think what's talking about? So you think Lane is going to Florida?
I believe he's going to wind up at Florida. Yes.
I think the prediction markets. What do they? I didn't check the last couple hours. Are the prediction markets still on? Still on Lane going?
Sure, the prediction markets probably have him going everywhere.
Yeah, I would imagine they do. If you were to choose between Florida or LSU, what would you take?
I would the yes to Florida down there right now on Calgi is down as low as it's been. I feel he's down from 58% to 50%.
Okay,
is what he is at Florida. So it's down as low as it's been a while. I would go to Florida.
Okay,
because I think there is less drama.
You mean the governor is not out there talking about your football team and
yeah. I think family lifestyle. I think for him being closer to the, like, if you're choosing between Oxford and Baton Rouge, like there really isn't. Is there that much of it? Yeah, actually there is. Oxford's a little more. I think southern upper, glitzy kind of very cute little downtown. Baton Rouge more of a city.
It's where Bear would live.
Yes,
Oxford's great. I love Oxford.
Like
beautiful little square.
Southern.
It's beautiful. I mean, in Baton Rouge is one of my favorite places to go in the country. Unbelievable food, like food number one. But
I'd live in Iowa City, for the record. That's where I'd live. If I were a college city, I'd be in Iowa City.
We had fun in Iowa City a couple of weeks ago.
I've drank a lot of vodka in Iowa City over the years.
I remember 1996 was my first trip to Iowa City. It was for an Iowa-Ohio State game. In 1996, and it was the same day as Game 6 of the World Series, where Yankees finally beat the Braves and Girardi the triple over Grissom's head, and awesome. So Ohio State football, and then I remember that night watching Game 6 of the World Series in our office area at Carver Hawkeye Arena, and then afterwards got absolutely hammered at the airliner.
Well, I'm so happy. Bears.
Sure, Sammy's been to the airliner. I'm sure.
I'm very happy for you as a Yankees fan to win. That was your 23rd championship.
That was the first championship since 1978.
Good for you. Good for Yankees fans.
The first one that I can really remember.
Uplifting.
So you'll talk about that game in Best Bets, but I mean, we have fun with the red phone. We are on the phones this week trying to figure out who's playing quarterback at Michigan State, and we don't know. Childs is out; he's not going to play, and the backup, Alessio Milivojevic, got hurt against Penn State. Bear, if they have to go to the third stringer in this game, Leo Hannon, who according to 24 Sports is a big, strong, 6'4", 215-pound quarterback, he would be making his first ever collegiate road start against an Iowa defense with the pink locker room, and that would be really bad.
Hard. And Iowa still cares. I'm sure the weather's crummy this weekend in Iowa City, and I think that Iowa's going to roll in this game. Iowa looked. They last week was bad. I mean, they're up 21-7. That's a game that Iowa always wins. It didn't happen for them. I think this weekend they sort of get right. Look, Penn State last weekend didn't play terribly well and beat Michigan State by 18 points. Like
28-10, I believe the final was.
Wasn't even a close game in the end. I think that the thing that can happen here. Bear, is Miami at Virginia Tech going to be close? Is this going to be one of those Mario Cristobal games in November?
I think a lot of people were thought one of those games could have been last week.
Yeah.
Talking, yes, yeah.
I was on NC State because I had the double fade.
Mhm.
Two people were on Miami there.
Mhm.
And I watched a little bit of that game. NC State quarterback was not having a good day.
No, CJ Bailey was
Bad day.
was up against it last week. And I think you're going to see a similar type effort and performance from Miami. Some of the injuries and all of the talk that they had offensively, you've now seen guys like Pringle come in off the bench and like really give them a boost at the running back position. So I think they're going to go. I think they're going to win. This is a Virginia Tech team. I know people are going to enter Sandman and Franklin's going to come out and rah, rah, rah. And then unfortunately for Virginia Tech, the game starts. Like, I don't think people realize like how good Miami's defense has been this year. They 15.9 points per game against Power 4 teams, plus 16 sack differential against Power. Only Texas A&M is better. Like defensively, they've been awesome. And I think Virginia Tech is going to have a hell of a time trying to score points here.
It was interesting that they decided to roll Franklin out this week and bring a bunch of recruits in a game that they could get spanked in. All that said, with all the smack he was talking this week about Miami Notre Dame, if Miami loses this one, the Leprechauns are going to come for you, Bear.
That's fine. That's why I've been saying if they all went out, that's why it's college. You guys know, you know this from playing. Ridiculous crap happens late in the year in college football. Oregon.
It would never happen.
Yeah.
Oregon.
I was going to say Oregon never loses to Washington or never loses to Stanford or USC late in the that doesn't happen. Right?
You want to list other games? Arizona State.
The Arizona State one was that 2019.
Yeah, also Jane Daniels was a true freshman.
Oh, I remember that one. I had the dog, luckily.
At Arizona,
yeah, Miami never loses to Syracuse.
Dennis,
it never happens.
Dennis knee tore on that Arizona.
That was
Arizona
awful.
turf.
And here's the thing. I like Miami. I have Miami to make the playoff. I want Miami to be good. Show me something here. Show me something. That's what I want.
I think the Franklin hire was a great hire for Virginia Tech. Now, if I was Franklin, I would take a year off, but obviously he wants to get back into it. But this is a great spot for him because the expectations will not be what they are at Penn State. He'll win a ton of games. And it wouldn't be funny next year if he wins like his first game of the top 5 team in 10 years.
Clemson or Miami are back in the top 10 and they beat him next year.
They beat him next year. I thought the hire was a great hire. Yeah. What'd you make of it?
I like the hire as well. I mean, look, I think you hit the nail on the head right there. It's a school that if he goes 9-3, after the run that they have had, they're going to be ecstatic. And I think with the way he was kind of criticized or the perception that he had at Penn State, not being able to win the big game and just kind of getting run out there despite all the success that they had. We talked about it like at the time, like there were probably 110 schools out there that would love to have had James Franklin and what he did at Penn State. And now Virginia Tech's got him.
And there's also a little bit of FU to Penn State because they're recruiting the same region now. And there's a little bit of that. Like, I'm curious how many players transfer over, and he has the contacts for all the recruits already. He has them in his phone. Opportunity for him to recruit right there. Staying in the ACC, Pittsburgh is at Georgia Tech here. Georgia Tech is favored by 2.5, total 61.5. I gotta say, man, the Georgia Tech run game is fun, but their defense is bad.
BAD
is
bad.
very, very bad. And
Pittsburgh's offense is going to love seeing GT after having to face Notre Dame.
Pittsburgh was able to drive the ball down the field. They just weren't able to finish a lot against Notre Dame.
I know. I watched the whole game.
Sammy went winless last week. Remember, guys?
Yeah, first time all season.
I tried to cheer you up with a pudding last night, and you don't want to go. So, Bear, we had another date last night.
I was going to say, what's this about pudding?
We had another date last night. Sammy texted me on the way home. He's driving on the train, coming on the train in New York City. Texted me a picture of a cup of look at ice cream. It turns out to be banana pudding.
Magnolia Bakery. It's apparently world famous.
With wafers in it. We went to dinner last night, and we went to dinner near Magnolia Bakery. So I said, hey, Sammy, let's get you a pudding, man. Let's get you a pudding after dinner. We walked in there, and Sammy did not get a pudding.
I ate more sushi than Geoff, first of all. I had so much sodium in my body. If I would have taken down a pudding, I would have dropped dead on the spot.
Well, it's kind of like the sweet and the savory with the sodium and the sweet with the sugar.
We
couldn't do it.
We both walked in there, small little shop, size of this room. There's 3 employees in there, and they're like, what would you like? And I'm like, I'm trying to convince him to get a pudding. They were very confused by our presence in their small little shop, but we decided that the best course of action might have been to get a small with 2 spoons.
Yeah.
To see if they would
Oh,
react.
yeah, you two dating out there, they sharing it.
Yeah.
How could you go in this? You should have gotten
I'm
something.
not a dessert.
I
person.
didn't even want to go. He said we were going to go in because he wanted to get something for the room. And then it turns out we get in there and he's like, oh, Sammy wants pudding. So then the whole staff looks at me and I said, no, I don't want pudding. I might go after the Lanning.
Please do.
I might do that.
Get some Italian cookies or something, or come on.
It looks outstanding, but no, I was not ready. I thought it'd be very funny though if me at 6'2", 225 and Geoff at 6'6", 3 bills plus
Thank you.
ordered a small pudding and 2
spoons.
little spoons and just fed each other in the corner.
I'm not a dessert guy, so I have some dessert, but like a very limited amount of it, like a couple spoons or a couple bites of like something. Like I'm good there. Like with my kids, I'm just like, give me a piece of your cake. I'm like a little piece. I'm done. So I would have split a pudding with Sammy.
I've never been a big like sweet dessert guy
Yeah.
either. I'm like apps. Give me the front end.
I'm a salt. So whatever.
Give me nachos. Give me wings.
Yes,
Give me
yes,
whatever.
absolutely, yeah.
So we're at my sister's house the couple of days after Halloween, and my nephew's got his Halloween basket and talking and going through it, and my sister says, oh, you ate all of the nerd clusters. And I'm like, what the hell's a nerd cluster?
They're good.
And apparently they're like, yeah.
The kids like them.
Yeah, and my sister's like, oh, you've never had nerd clusters? I'm like, no. And apparently my wife had also said, oh yeah, I got them. They're all gone.
So
I'm like,
this is the thing. You're
so I
missing out
went
on about kids, Barry.
I went out. I'm like, okay, now I'm going to have to get these nerd clusters. I'm not going to be able to get them ever again because
They're very good.
they're very good.
Yeah.
They get the crunch of the little nerd and then the chewiness on the inside. Yeah,
They have a new one with a gusher in the middle.
really.
So you get that
Oh, no.
sensation.
See, okay,
Yeah.
now
Now-
you're tempting me.
Now Bears can go to the airport after this and get
You're
himself a-
terrible. I can't withstand temptation.
Let me get this back on the rails here. So Pittsburgh, right? Pittsburgh threw a ball against Notre Dame on the first drive down to the 5-yard line, and it hit the receiver's tips. And then they went for it on 4th down, got sacked. Notre Dame scores the long touchdown, and then it's the pick 6. You knew the game was over then. If they get a better start in this game, they could easily. Obviously, the line is 2.5. They could easily win.
And their rush defense, numbers wise, was good before Notre Dame. So that could either be a function of who they played, but also maybe they just had a bad game against Notre Dame. It just didn't go very well for them. And you think the rush defense against Tech would be a little bit better. Now it's time for Super 6 guys, presented by DraftKings. Bear will both have columns out later in the week. One of the questions will be, what will the outcome between number 11 BYU at Cincinnati? Will BYU win by 3 points or more? This is the big noon kickoff game. You will be going to Cincinnati after taping this. Are you Skyline Chili guy?
Oh God, no. Oh,
Wait until yourself, Cincinnati, guys. Bear
I'm
gets
a
your
White
food.
I'm a White Castle guy. I'm a Jeff Ruby guy. I'm a Graders guy. Skyline Chili is where I draw the line.
Is that the one that they put over the pasta?
Yes.
Mm.
And I made a great potted chili last week.
Chili is. I gotta make some chili. It's not cold enough yet to make chili.
It was raw in Connecticut.
Yeah, I'm sure. Cornbread too.
I did not go cornbread this time. I went Old Bay toast. So I got some ciabatta bread,
Yeah,
melted some butter, mixed it with some Old Bay seasoning, and then popped it in the oven.
delicious. Absolutely love it.
Mm.
Do you think BYU fans will enjoy this game this week? Are they going to win or lose this game? Because obviously,
I think they're going to win.
the way that they are talking on the internet, they are very excited to be a college football playoff participant potentially.
I mean, what leads you to believe that? I mean, all BYU has done all year long is defy the expectations, defy the power ratings. Like again, we talked a bit about Oklahoma and their college football playoff rank difference between them and the computers. Like according to the power ratings, like BYU is the most overrated team in the country. They're 11 in the playoff rankings. They're 21 in Sagarin, 17 in SP plus.
Yeah.
But it hasn't seemed to matter. You come back against Colorado, you come back against Utah, you come back at Arizona in improbable fashion. You're just not as good of a team as Texas Tech. But here on the road against a Cincinnati team that's kind of been floundering.
The defense stinks. Cincinnati's defense sucks.
Cincinnati's defense is terrible.
Yeah,
They're one of they can't get teams out. They're like worst in the country in terms of 3-and-out percentage, and that's bad for a BYU team.
This
with
game
Bach
is
Myers.
actually at night though, right?
Yes.
It's a night game. So do you think Now BYU's play well on the road till they play Tech. They've had some close calls. Arizona was a close call. Do you think that environment gets to the true freshman?
No.
Because the reason why I did at Texas Tech is they could rush the passer and affect him.
Yeah,
in that way. And he looked like out of sorts in that game. But Cincinnati can't rush the passer. They can't stop the run. And I think BYU, Sammy, does go in there and win and cover this game.
At 54.5, it'd be an overplay for me. I think this one's going to end up closer to 57. So at 54.5, a lot of things point to a lot of touchdowns in the game.
All right. I think the last game of the weekend is going to be UCLA, Washington. UCLA obviously will have a new coach in a couple weeks. There's rumors that your guy Chesney could be the Bruin head coach.
Kenny Chesney?
Yeah, Kenny Chesney. Yeah,
wow,
yeah, the hat and everything. Yeah, they have UCLA brand a hat for him
as opposed to Tennessee. Yeah, interesting.
Washington is laying 10.5 here. Bear, I like the Bruins in this game to cover.
Why?
Yeah. Well, Washington stinks on the road. That's one thing. They have played their worst games on the road. It's by far the Michigan game, the game at Maryland. They lost to Wisconsin. Nico should be back for UCLA. It's just more of a situation. And the look-ahead spot, which we have not talked about much this week, there's a lot of spots where teams are playing rivalries next weekend, and they're sort of playing. You will mention in your best bets with one of these games. This is a spot here. We have another best bet, by the way, in the Big 12 in a look-ahead spot. This is a look-ahead spot, right? Like you should beat UCLA, get Oregon at home next week, could ruin Oregon's season. But also, too, like Jed Fish is probably not their coach next season. I don't know where he's at, but there's also that part of it as well. So I'm not sure the Bruins win this game, but this is going to be at 22,000 fans at the Rose Bowl Saturday night game.
That many?
17?
Yeah, 17 sounds about right.
Announced
22.
Are the Lakers playing on Saturday night? If not,
I don't know.
They might have 12,000 fans at that game. The Lakers are playing at home.
This number's
Saturday
getting lower and lower.
I was going to say Clippers are irrelevant, so that doesn't matter. But you brought up a good point about a lot of these spots and some of the situations with teams, and not only just look ahead, but just like flat out like sandwich total dead spots on the board. Like look at Kirby Smart at Georgia laying 40-something points against Charlotte, 13-1 at Georgia when this team's laying 40 points, and they got the
Charlotte's not
good old Georgia Tech next week. Charlotte's terrible. I know, like that. You got Notre Dame against a dead Syracuse team who can't score. But again, Notre Dame needs to win, look good. They go to Stanford next week. There are a lot of those type of spots, and I'll mention another one coming up in best bets as well.
I wonder if the Georgia game, if you're paying attention to it live, is a live under game. Like Georgia gets up 21-0, 28-0, and then they just remove everyone from the game, and you're able to notice when that is.
Very possible.
And take the live under there in that spot. Any last thoughts on games, Bear?
Yeah, no, we're not going to be betting on most of these games or any of these games, but it's a great week for small school, historic college football rivalries, like the backbone of the sport. Not everybody had the privilege of going to a big Power 5 college football, like legitimate school, powerhouse school. Harvard, Yale, 150th edition of the game.
Love it.
Winner gets the Ivy League title and first college football playoff berth for the Ivy League. Montana State at Montana. And it's 2 versus 3, I believe, in the FCS. Both undefeated behind Montana's undefeated behind the Bison. Great rivalry, Brawl the Wild. Lehigh Lafayette, both 11-0. Winner gets the league title. Cal Stanford, the Axe this week. So all these great rivalries that mean so many things to so many people. It's great for that. And I want to give a shout out to, we mentioned Wazoo earlier in the show because they play
James Madison.
Yes, thank you. How many people realize that Wake Forest is 7-3? And they should be 8-2. Like the job that if they can win one of these games, have an opportunity to go to a bowl game and win 10 games, he should be in the mix for coach of the year.
So is Dickert a guy that keep your eye on for a better job this year? Or too soon? He did really well at Washington State.
I know he
can coach.
I hate to be the guy to say go, but if someone comes calling for him,
you can't turn it down.
Yeah, I don't think you can turn it down. Because it's funny. I can remember back in college game day era, I would spend so much time with these guys, and I forget who the coach was at the time, But Lee Corsi used to tell us about like encouraging Fred Goldsmith to leave Duke after they had a great year. And Fred Goldsmith never left Duke, and he stayed and obviously never had the same type of season that he did again after I think it was 1994 when they had a great year. So you got to get out while the getting's good because eventually they're going to come for you.
That's the thing about, like if you get offered one of these jobs, like I think you have to, but before we get to our 2-minute drill, Bear, what's your hottest coaching carousel take? Do you have one you're willing to share?
We've mentioned Lane to Florida. I think that's ultimately going to happen. And Penn State, I think, is one to watch. I know Eli Drinkwitz has been kind of looked at there. I think people are mentioning Jeff Brom. I don't know. It feels like Penn State is probably something beneath the surface. Maybe someone that hasn't been mentioned yet that might have.
I think Silverfield is a great fit. I know it was reported online and it didn't end up being true. It was one of those bunk accounts. Silverfield, Arkansas. I think he'd be outstanding there.
The prediction markets have him as the Arkansas head coach. So, I should ask him right now and see what he says.
To text him.
Beyond that, that'd be pretty funny if he give us that deal. Should I ask him?
Is he and ask him if we should? Is Arkansas going to cover against Texas this week?
He's off this week, so maybe he's doing some interview. I don't know. I don't know what he's.
Texas no shot playoff 9-3 even if they beat A&M. No shot
that
right?
game.
No, I don't think so.
And I think where the committee put them in the rankings, I can't.
Arch looks more like Cooper's kid every day.
And the thing I hate most about the Texas discussion right now is the Texas fans that are saying if we didn't play Ohio State, we would be a playoff team. And it's certainly fair to argue
probably
that,
partially true.
But I don't think those games should go away. And maybe the 2014 playoff is the reason why we keep these games. But I just think that the sport needs those games to start the season. And if Texas was that good, they would have won that game, right? And they're not. And they're not. So they're not going to be a playoff team. All right, let's get to our 2-minute drill here. Favorite total of the week, favorite over-under of the week, Bear. I'll let you lead us off.
Miami over 32.5, -20. I don't mind laying that point. I think offensively, I think you're going to see a whole bunch. I think they're opening up the playbook on the road here. I think they are out to show that their offensive improvement the last couple of weeks is legitimate and real, and they're going to do everything that they possibly can to put up a big number on Virginia Tech. Remember, one of those teams in that cluster right now with Miami is Vanderbilt, and Vanderbilt went on the road. It was a close game in the third quarter in Layton Stadium earlier in the year. Virginia Tech was winning, had fourth and the width of one of these Bear Bets chips right here. Didn't go for it, got stopped, did go for it, punted. Vandy, next play, long touchdown, didn't get stopped the rest of the way. So they know this. So I would expect Miami to go up, put a big number up on the board.
I've been in a pretzel all week. I crossed off Rutgers plus 31.5. That's where I'm at in my life right now. I'm like, should I bet Rutgers against Ohio State? I kept that one off, but just decided to go under 55. Why would Ohio State play anybody in the second half? Correct. Assuming this is a blowout, let's just sit on the lead under 55.
I would not expect to see Jeremiah Smith nor Cardinal Tate out there at all.
It feels like
I like your bet.
24-7. Like this, who cares?
But it could be 30. To Sammy's point, though, why you wouldn't
34-0 too.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Well, given how I'm running, it'll be 42-28. And Rutgers will cover.
The thing about Rutgers covering though, is that you can make
it'll
the case.
Get better, Sam. I promise it'll get better.
Make the case that in the second half, when they pull their starters, Rutgers can pass the football on paper, I guess, and they could score like a late touchdown or two to keep this, to cover this game.
Rutgers against Power 4 teams this year is allowing 7.8 yards per play.
Yeah, I know.
8 yards of play against the.
I watched my team play them.
Terrible.
Yeah,
Greg chopping wood. Good old Suns defense.
It's
awful.
It's not good.
Go under.
My total, Michigan State under 13.5 points in Iowa City. They're not going to score. Sammy mentioned the quarterback issues. Even if they had their quarterbacks playing, Childs got benched. We saw last weekend off a bye, 10 points against Penn State. I think they scored in the opening drive too. 3 points the rest of the game was pretty ugly. All right, underdog they can win outright. Let's hear it.
I hate taking an underdog that's only a 2.5 point dog. I was having trouble finding a dog to win outright.
Mercer?
Week. I don't think Mercer will win outright. Probably monster on the money line. 28 point dog. They could be. I went with Pitt. We talked about Pitt, Georgia Tech before. It would be just like Pitt after laying that egg last week against Notre Dame to go up against a Georgia Tech defense that is terrible. Georgia Tech's another team very easily could have, should have, would have, maybe kind of lost last week against BC. And again, they got the Georgia game next week. So Georgia Tech wins to go to the ACC championship game. A lot of pressure, rivalry game next week. Give me Pitt on the small plus price on the money line.
Hodges, the fullback, playing quarterback at Air Force. They were close last week.
Off we go.
They keep fighting.
I had Air Force last week. They failed on 4th and 1, and that was like the end of it. You're like, you got stuffed on 4th and 1. And they lost by that margin.
Yeah, so they're getting 3.5 here against New Mexico. I like them to win.
Every time you bet an underdog and they have that moment where they miss that 4th down, you're like, that's it.
You know, that was South Carolina A&M. As
it's
soon as Sellers didn't run the ball 4th and 1 and they took it out of his hand, you knew it was like, okay, Texas A&M money line, and they were a favorite at the time. They were a small favorite, and then they grew and grew. But as soon as South Carolina didn't make that 4th and 1, you knew what was coming.
Yeah, immediately. I like Wisconsin here, taking a long shot on like these two guys that are taking easy dogs to pick. This money's come down. This money's come down all week.
That was
on this one.
That was
I'm calling my shot here. Wisconsin host Illinois. Wisconsin's playing a tad bit better recently, but more Illinois just. I don't like this matchup with their offensive line. Their offense, Wisconsin's defense can really play. It's going to be an ugly game. There's no rivalry. Illinois doesn't have a rivalry game next week, right? There's no like rival for them like that.
Northwestern.
Is that a rivalry? Like a big rivalry?
I don't think it is, but they call it a rivalry.
So I not really look at spot. I just think Wisconsin mucks this game up.
Did we get did the PC committee get rid of that trophy? Wasn't it like the
well, now it's the Land of Lincoln trophy.
Yeah,
I don't remember what it used to be.
Because
it was never
I
a close game.
want a trophy game.
You don't have any trophy games?
I think. Well, Oregon State's a Civil War. There's no trophy for that. Yeah,
that'd be an interesting looking trophy.
I think they used to have a platypus like trophy that they would give, but they lost it for like 50 years. And just like
that was like the Illibuck trophy with an awful looking trophy.
Yeah,
terrible.
I just love I love the every Big Ten team has like a trophy game. It's the best. I mean, out west it's just I guess Cal Stanford have the axe, right? They get to share that. The Bruins and Trojans have a victory bell, I think. The Arizona say they just fight each other every game.
Exactly. Yeah, may as well. Nope.
That's their one trophy.
I'm mad right now. I need to find a.
What are you mad about, Bear?
I'm mad because you called us out on giving a short dog. So I'm looking for a bigger dog potentially to give out on the
Virginia Tech.
Maybe you never know. It could be. How about FAU? FAU at home against UConn. How about that?
Okay, we'll take it.
Maybe,
there we go.
Maybe
there we go. Bear manned up a little bit. He took a bigger dog.
And I'm still a coward.
Is Colorado live, by the way, to win this game? To win this game against Arizona State? Okay.
Absolutely.
Colorado's keep your eye on Colorado this weekend. No one's talking about them, right? Off a bye. Juju's playing well, so we'll see that. All right, coming up next, we will hit our best bets. Stay tuned for that. Welcome back in. Time for our best bets. Before we get going here, Bear, update on the contest. You have to give us our weekly update.
Now when lost a point last week, tied for 6th in the college football Westgate contest. So we've the double whammy of Colorado and Auburn that day when we were a lot 3. That was kind of the Rubicon for me, unfortunately. So don't think we can get there, but if we can maybe move up a couple places, well, I'll take it. Circa, I talked about this last week. Guy who was in second place, we were 17-4 the last 3 weeks. He's 10-1 in his best bets. I'm now in second place in that. Ironically, he's got named Jason Jarvis, a pro bettor now, who I used to work with at ESPN. We used to play deck hockey forever together. So I've known him forever, and he's overtaken me and I have a 3-point lead over the second place competitor. So we're still doing well there.
Okay? Finish strong, Bear.
We will.
Finish strong.
Oh, there you go.
Oh, there we go.
Finish strong. Finish strong. All right, Bear. Well, let's start with your best bets here. What do you like this week?
Colorado, ugly dog this week. 7-point home dog against Arizona State, who somehow is in the committee's top 25 with Jeff Sims now, the backup at quarterback. They got the rivalry game against Arizona next week. No one's going to want to bet Colorado this week except for me and maybe someone else on the set. We'll find out. Let's call it a tease in the industry. So give me Colorado. Talk about how Deion Sanders has been terrible last couple of years at Colorado. Give me the Buffs plus the 7. Pat Narduzzi, we're putting you on the spot. You said you could lose 110-3 or whatever it was against Notre Dame last week. You pretty much did. You wanted to win the next 2 games. Go to Atlanta, beat Georgia Tech, get yourself in the ACC title race. So I do like the Panthers plus the 2.5. Like Louisville plus the 2.5 against SMU. I think all the talk about the way they melted down in the fourth quarter with all the penalties. Miller Moss kind of calling some people out about culture. I think SMU is a little too short.
The end of that Louisville game the other night was
ridiculous.
They were very, very bad.
Oh, it was terrible.
The penalties.
And Clemson tried their hardest not to win the game.
I mean, Davos after the game, what do you after the game like we both tried to lose?
Yes,
and
he's right. It checks. It checks, believe me.
It's so bad.
So, yeah, give me Louisville plus 2.5. And then give me Mercer plus you can find a 28 out there against Auburn. Mercer ranks 32 spots better in the Sagarin rankings in South Alabama. South Alabama played Auburn, and Auburn won by 2 touchdowns. So Mercer is 9-1 in the FCS. Alabama's got the Iron Bowl next week. This is perfect Auburn. Auburn's gonna win this game by like 11 points, struggle, and then they'll beat Alabama next week. That's how college football 2025 works.
And then Alabama will get higher than Notre Dame in the playoff rankings.
Exactly.
Because that's how things
work. Yeah, because
right?
it'll be a good loss on the road in your rivalry game.
Oh, okay. I saw Pitt, by the way, and I just had PTSD from the long Jeremiah Love touchdown into pick 6.
At least there's no Duke in this one this week, Bear.
Manny's number has been blocked and erased.
I've got 2 favorites, 2 dogs, and please keep me honest in the YouTube comments section. I know there's somebody who said he's living under a bridge because of my picks last week, so please keep us honest. Laying it with Oregon. Agree with everything Geoff said. JMU is laying 13.5 to the Palousers from Washington State. They got to go all the way across the country here, Barrett. Not a great spot. Laid it there. Not taking Duke. I'm taking the Fighting Belichick's plus the 7, and Air Force is going basically Wildcat this week. Zarka is hurt, their quarterback. They're going with the fullback, Kemper Hodges, to play quarterback. They're going to run it all over New Mexico.
I can't wait to watch that game. That'll be a lot of fun. Quickly, my best bets. I got 2 of the same here. I like Colorado plus the 7 points. I think it's just a tough spot for Arizona State. Before the Territorial Cup, you're on the road. It's going to be cold in Boulder. Juju Lewis can play, the young freshman. Like, he's got some juice there. Can you just do enough to stay within 7, I hope. I like Iowa here, minus 16.5, hosting Michigan State. Michigan State's not going to score much at all in this game. And I think Iowa will control the ground game. They'll make up for the USC loss. And look, they're a team I think that's like, they're not going to have letdowns. They don't play the way. The last game I like UCLA plus 10 hosting Washington. Final game, I think, of the entire weekend. Washington's bad on the road to start with. And they have Oregon look-ahead spot, and Jed Fish, who knows where he is mentally, if he's going to have that job in a couple weeks or not. So I'll take UCLA here, plus 10. Nico should be back under center for them.
There's a whole bunch of picks there. Hopefully we can keep the winning ways going. Appreciate Coach Lanning joining us on Bear Bets again. Keep our winning streak alive. We hope we're the good luck charm. Appreciate you watching. FS1, Apple, Spotify, YouTube, wherever you get your podcasts. Geoff, Sammy, I'm Bear. Remember, less you bet, more you lose when you win.